Good morning, Scott here. Hope you're well. Hope you had a nice weekend. And I hope you spent some time looking through your trades of last week and reviewed them. Just see what went well, what you did well, what you've been proud of, followed your trading plan, and find out things that you can improve on and make better for next time. So we had some big movements on Friday. No particular reason I can see. There was some CAD news, but a lot of pairs, especially yen, has some big moves. So who knows? And that's messed it up a little bit for today. But there's a few things on there which are worth looking at because some things may set up nicely for a bit later on. So let's get into the charts. I'll show you what I'm seeing. Okay. So here we are. Where are we starting at? Not starting that one. We will start at Aussie CAD. So Aussie CAD, what have we got? We've got a very strong support line down here on the daily, and it's bouncing off nicely. And we're going sideways for a week or so, and then on Friday we had a big move up. So finally we got some direction. A little room to day 20, but not much. But there's certainly room to the daily 50. We look at the MACD. There's no real MACD. There's a MACD from right back here, this low to this low, slightly higher from this low to this low. But nothing spectacular. But we've definitely got a positive price movements on Friday, which means we've probably going to have some bullish action today. Lower time frames. So usually we look at the 4-hour, 1 hour, and the 5-minute for entry, perhaps. But we'll focus mostly on the 1 hour because most of the information I need is on the 1 hour. Because I have on the 1 hour chart, the 1 hour 50, the red line. The 1 hour 20 I don't care about, so that's not there. This blue line here is a 4 hour 50. And you can see it's lagging behind the price action. So that's a good area line to look at because that gives us potential support resistance, right? As you see here, and it comes back up to meet it up here. Almost touched it, rejected it, touched it, rejected it, almost touched it, rejected it. Broke through briefly, okay, back through again. Finally, we had a good breakthrough on Friday. So we have a kind of level down here, which is, that's fine. So we've got a 1, 2, 3, 4 touches on there. So it's a pretty strong support level. And it bounced off through the 1 hour and through the 4 hour. And if we do our fib up to, yeah, it's just touched the daily 20, which is this red line, very faint red line, you might be able to see there. Hopefully you can see. It's daily 20, so it's just touched that. And who knows where we'll go next. The market has just opened for the week. We just had our first hourly candle close. And on really low volume, and volume will start coming in now just a little bit, and it will start building up. So because of the big movements we had on Friday, be cautious on the Asian market open, the UK open. The US open should be okay because the movements happened during the US, while the US market was open on Friday. So we'll see what happens here. If it does pull back, it could give us a nice little CBO entry up here somewhere on the 382, around the 382, the 1 hour 50 will have time to catch up, hopefully. Each 4 hours, 4 hour 50 is not far behind, before our 618 and our stop. So the 382 is our red line here on the fib. 618 is the green line, so we go closer behind 618. And there's good potential up here to either to the daily 20 or even the daily 50, push a little bit further, depending on your trading style. So that's looking quite nicely lined up. So I like that one. Move on to Aussie dollar. very similar price action. We've had a good support resistance level here. Good support. It sort of messed around this level a little bit for about a week or so, and then finally a bullish move on Friday. So that implies that the Aussie is getting stronger, because the Aussie CAD and Aussie dollar both giving strong action, strong positive upside. So on the hourly chart, we have these trend lines just go way back. And we finally broke through those cleanly on Friday. We had a break of the 4-hour 50 on Friday, but it wasn't for very long, just for a 1-hour candle gap, just a small break and straight back through it again. So that doesn't really count for CBO. If CBO will be, we get a clear 4-hour. I'll show you what I mean. If you go to the 4-hour chart, that break on Friday was this one here, just basically just broke it slightly and wick and straight back down again. So that's really testing the 4-hour, and maybe just testing these trend lines here. You can see if we extend these trend lines, kind of lining up with that. So back to the 1-hour. So clearly broken through those. Breaking through the 1-hour, the 4-hour, both these trend lines. It's gone up to the daily 20, and it's just playing with that at the moment. If it does stop around here somewhere and pull back, we could pull back to 382, which will be where 1-hour 50 will be in a few hours. And 4-hour 50 not far behind. The stop behind the 618, and entry up here by the 382, which also lines up with the daily pivot, which is nice. So we've got 3 things hopefully will line up on entry. If it does pull back, then we'll have a nice potential long trade here up to daily 50. Oh, actually, there's some levels here. So there's a kind of resistance level there, so probably best not to trade through that. And therefore, this is slightly below the daily 50. Daily 50 being this green line here. Okay, that's looking good too. CAD yen. The yens are looking a bit crazy after Friday, and it's looking like the opening is not particularly nice for us either. Looking for a short day before today's what looks like a bullish day so far, just the last hour or so. You hit this level here. We had great deceleration, doji, small up candle, another small candle, and a very big candle on Friday, but it ended up down. So that was looking like a bearish candle. But it's looking like the hourly chart is going a little bit weird on open. And the Asia session kicks off. So we had this is the big movement in the yen. It rallied up before whatever happened, and then it went down very sharply over a couple of hours. Then it pulled back to where it was. So it's not sure if they're messing around with the currency markets. There's lots of bond stuff going on. A lot of countries are messing around with their bonds at the moment, trying to save their currencies. So we have to wait for this to settle down. It's looking a bit messy. The fib doesn't really line up for much. It lines up well for a 4-hour, for CVO perhaps, but now this candle's going to line up here, basically before this action started on a Friday. Always up and then down and then back again. Maybe we're not going anywhere, so we'll keep an eye on that one, but it's not looking like it's going to be very, very nice setup. Swiss yen, probably not too dissimilar. Yeah, again, a bearish day on Friday, but it's looking like it's pulling back now. And yeah, similar kind of chart pattern. The fib doesn't line up very well. 382 is down here, which is not very good. We've gone straight past that. Take a long time for the 1-hour 50 to catch up. Let's come back to test the 1-hour 50, but we can't use an IBO, an IBOC it would be, because the fib's just nowhere. The fib needs to be up here. The 382 needs to be up here somewhere. So that's looking pretty yucky as well. But there is some good stuff out there, so we'll keep going. Right, Euro Aussie on Friday we had We've had a retest of this trend line on the monthly, trend line on the weekly, and the trend line on the daily, and a very bearish action on Friday. That's looking like a bearish momentum will continue today. So on Friday we had this big rundown. It's a bit exaggerated. There we go. Looks better. So we've been going sideways. We've broken the uptrend, the trend line, and we're going sideways. Now we're getting consistently lower highs and lower lows. So we've got high, 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 lower high, and then low, lower low, lower low, lower low, and lower low again. So that's looking pretty good. We do a fib for this last run, and it lines up with the pivot, the daily pivot. You cover quite a few choices of how to do the fib. You could do the fib a little bit higher, maybe from the top. That lines up probably better with the 4-hour 50 and the 1-hour 50 catching up. So in a few hours, that price action will hopefully pull back to the 1-hour 50. And what's the 1-hour 50 and the 4-hour 50 will be lining up very well with that as well. Stop go behind the 618. And as you can see, that could be a nice little trade down to the daily 20, or potentially even down to the daily 50. Looking at the daily, how does that look? Well, possible. Overbought, needs to pull back somewhere. There's no real MACD, but we've had the reversal already. So the overbought suggests it might go down to the daily 50. So yeah, so that could be on. So keep an eye on that one. That's a good looking one. Good looking setup. Euro yen. Another yen. So it was looking pretty bearish until this morning. Hitting this level, rejecting it. Bearish looking candle. But now today's retracing all of that movement we had on Friday. So Friday, movement up, movement down. Since pulling back. And maybe there's nothing in it. The fib doesn't line up anymore. Yeah, so before the open today, the fibs were lining up okay. Now it's not looking good. Keep an eye on it. This is all low volume action at the moment. Maybe it'll pull back, give an entry later. Not looking too nice right now. Pound Aussie will probably look similar. So this one out there. No. Pound Aussie probably looks similar to Euro Aussie. Yeah, we got a trend line here, rejected strongly, and a nice bearish day on Friday. So looking like that might continue. Was it overbought? Yeah, it was overbought just into the red area up here when it touched this trend line. So it could be further pullback. Got a gapping up here, which is not another Aussie pair, so this must be a pound thing. Pound gaining some strength over the weekend. So we've had this uptrend, trend line, then broken, lower highs, lower lows, downtrend in play, broken the 1 hour, and now we've finally broken the 4 hour, this blue line. So 4 hours tested here, and now finally broken through, retested, and we're looking for a nice CBO, a nice few 4 hour candles. Well, the open today hasn't really helped very much. Do we have CBO looking there? On the 4 hour, well, we do have a 4 hour candle gap, but it just looks wrong, doesn't it, with that gap up this morning. So although that potentially is a CBO very soon, if not right now, but when the volume comes in, it just looks a bit yucky. So I'll put it on secondary. Just looks a bit messy. Pound yen, another yen, similar action, bearish, big movements on Friday, and not looking healthy this morning. Retracing all its steps. Gapping up there is obviously the pound. The yen is the big movement down and pulling back up again. So that's looking pretty messy. We'll get rid of that one. Okay, dollar CAD. What do we have on dollar CAD? Dollar CAD's been a bit weird or a bit sideways, you'll say, for the last couple of weeks. Testing this level, not breaking through it, but not really going anywhere. And then Friday we had this nice break down. So breaking through the daily 20, which is this blue line, and looking like more bearish action for today. Click on the 1 hour chart, we can see it's very sideways. Blue line is 4 hour 50, so we were testing it, and now finally broken through. It's a bit messy, but now we have a very nice breakdown lower below all these lows. So that could be a nice little CBO. Got a clearly lower low, below all this sideways action, and we need to have a lower high, which we won't get until we have an entry, potentially. But that could be a nice little short trade later. So entry at 382 on the fib going from this last run, seems to be okay. Fib starting or finishing at the end of the last run, if it does reverse now, which it seems to be doing so far. Putting back to 382, daily pivot's about there as well. The 1 hour 50 will hopefully catch up. This won't happen till UK Open at the earliest, which is another 8 hours or so. And the 4 hour 50 will be here, which will be before our 618. So keep an eye on that one. That looks like it might be a nice one for later on in UK Open. Dollar Swiss, not too dissimilar to dollar CAD. Messing around at this quite very strong resistance level, testing here and here and here, and a big wick on Friday, bearish day, depending on our market price action today. So just make that a bit nicer. So again, we're going sideways, uptrend. Yeah, well, because of Friday, we've got a higher high. We now have a lower low. We need a lower high. That may come at the entry. Not quite as clean as dollar CAD, is it? It's a bit messy. It hasn't broken these lows here. But if it did pull back, doing the fib from the highs to the lows. Dollar Swiss again might be for another 6 to 8 hours. So see how it plays out. But the 1 hour 50 will probably come back. Yeah, it's not quite as nice as dollar CAD, but it's keep an eye on it. You never know. And potentially you could trade that down to the daily 50 in this green line. It's got a nice risk reward. If it does actually pull back for an IBO, which is possible, actually the fibs are like quite nicely for an IBO, but in 6 to 8 hours when the UK Open, 1 hour 50 could be past that. So anyway, it could be an IBOC or it could be a CBO. Keep an eye on that next 8 hours. Dollar yen. So another yen. Another big move on Friday. Finally, we got a breakdown after all this forever going up. We finally got a breakdown. And it looks like it's doing the same thing as many of the other yen pairs. It's retracing its big breakdown on Friday. So we'll see how that one goes. This trend line was broken, retested on Friday, but is now breaking above it. But again, this is low volume time, so we'll see how this plays out during the day. If we did a fib, highs to the lows, it's a bit of a big candle, so not ideal. But the 382 lines up with this trend line, lines up with the pivot, daily pivot, this blue line here. And depending on where this goes the next few hours, possibly a CBO or an IBOC short. If it's an IBOC, we're trading through this trend line, so be aware of that. I don't think I want to trade through it. It's a very strong one from a long way back. And actually, if it comes back down again to create a CBO, it could be a CBO for later, although it doesn't look particularly nice at the moment. Okay, let's quickly go through 3 others that may play set up later on. Aussie yen. Another yen. So it was looking like a nice down day today, but Early price action suggests it's not, although that's a massive wick. See how that plays out. The fib, you can't do the fib from there anymore because that's all gone. Fib from up here. That's a bit of a mess, isn't it? Keep an eye on it. Maybe it'll come back down, settle down, and give us an IBO later. But not looking good right now. Aussie Kiwi. So we had this breakdown, going sideways for the last 3 days, and maybe now the time it's fit to break higher. We did break above this trend line, which wasn't a particularly great one, but it was a trend line I put it on Friday. And it's now broken back below it. So this level here seems to be holding, this support level. Pretty good. And we need a break above the 1 hour 50. Above the 1 hour 50, up to where the top fib is, about there, down to the 1 hour 50, and up to the 4 hour 50. So that might be one for later on. Keep an eye on Aussie Kiwi. Euro Swiss is the last one we'll look at. Again, it was slowing down over the weekend, or end of last week. Nice high test on Friday, but early price action today kind of spoiling that. But anyway, we need to break below this 1 hour 50. So we need to come down, clearly break the 1 hour 50, go back up for an entry at the 1 hour 50 and 382, and pull down to roughly where the 1 hour 50 is. And the fibs you can do from the top of that wick to down here perhaps, or you might even be doing it from cut the wicks off. That might work as well. See how the price action plays out. There's a few options there, a couple of options for your fib, and 382 lining up with the 1 hour 50. That could be it. Right, let's go. So there you go, there's a few things there. It's a bit messy because of what happened on Friday, and it seems the open as well today. By the time you see this, things will have settled down, and hopefully we'll get a couple of nice trades in there. I wish you all the best. Happy trading. I will speak to you tomorrow. Take care.